Hello everyone, my name is Hasty Swampert and I am back to bring you all Week 10 of the Universal Pokemon Association, or, Season 4 of the Universal Pokemon Association Week 10. But our opponent for this week is, Corman 590, who is a friend of mine, and he is the coach of the Canton City Chatots. I will link his channel in the description below. You can check his channel out. I'll also link his Twitter. But the reason this video is not the reason this video isn't live, I'll go into for a little. Maybe I'll go over it during the battle. But before we begin anything, I'm just gonna show you my team quickly. So to start off the team, I wanted to have Smelly, because Smelly had good coverage against him with Fairy and Electric, because it hits Zygarde, Mega Absol, Talonflame, and Chatot. It hits all those mons, and it probably hits a few other things for a decent amount of damage. That's why I went for full special attack. And then I went for full defense, so I'd have like an easier time checking things like Zygarde, Mega Absol, maybe Electivire, I don't know. But Wish is there just to replenish health, and then Protect is just so I can get a guaranteed Wish off. And the Expert Belt was there to help KO Zygarde and Talonflame in one hit. So that's it for Smelly. Now next up we have Zapdos, because Zapdos has really good coverage against him. So I had Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, and HP Ice for the Zygarde. Thunderbolt hits Talonflame and Chatot, and Volt Switch is there to switch out. Roost is there to just replenish health, and Life Orb is just there to put out some damage. And then Static is just, it's a better ability overall because his team isn't really stally in any way. And if I'm lucky enough, I could get like a potential paralysis. So yeah, that's it for Zapdos. Next up we have an Expert Belt Victini with V-Create, Bolt Strike, Glaciate, and U-Turn, because like I said, it does plenty of damage against Corman's team. The Glaciate was for the Zygarde, Bolt Strike was for the Melodic, and Talonflame, and V-Create's V-Create. So, self-explanatory. U-Turn is to switch out, and I went with a Naive Nature and full speed. Just to have as much speed as possible. Now, we have Bisharp, and this Bisharp set's different. It's a Sword Dance Bisharp, because Bisharp could do a good amount of work of his team with Sword Dance. The Oka Berry was there to take the Flare Blitz from Talonflame, and then Sword Dance, Iron Head, Sucker Punch, and Knockoff. These are just moves to help sweep. And full attack, full speed, just went Adamant Nature. It's pretty self-explanatory. There really wasn't anything I was going to outspeed with a Jolly Nature, so might as well just get the extra power, like I usually do. But then I have Blastoise, and Blastoise is just a regular attacker. It's bulky, it does work. Scald and Ice Beam hits the Zygarde. Scald is just a good move overall. Aura Spears for the Absol, and then I have Dragon Tail, which is weird, but I had Dragon Tail because last time I battled him, I ended up losing 1-0 against this Contrary Shell Smash Shuckle. And if he wanted to bring that again, I could just Dragon Tail out and it would lose all those boosts instantly. So that's it. And then Aurorus was really just there because Ice coverage is really good against Corman also. Earth Power is there for if he was going to bring Mawile. Stealth Rock is Stealth Rock, and I wanted to be funny and I wanted to run Attract, but spoiler, it never gets used. Focus Sash is there just so I can get guaranteed rocks up, but that's it with the team. And here's the replay. So looking at his team, he has brought the Absol, the Zygarde, the Chatot, the Electivire, the Melodic, and the Talonflame. So we're going to start off the battle right here. We're going to go with slow, or we'll go with normal. So I decide I want to lead off with Did I? No, I didn't lead off with Blastoise. I led off with the Roarus because I was like, best case scenario, if he doesn't lead with Absol, he won't get rocks up. But he led with his Mega Absol, which stunk. So because of that, I wanted to preserve Aurorus to bring up rocks later. So I switched out and I went into my Mega Blastoise. And he ends up Mega Evolving and he gets the superpower off. And it does half. It does decent amount. So what I do then is I Mega Evolve and he goes into his Melodic. I decide to go for the Aura Spear because it's super effective and almost anything he switches in is neutral to it. So at this case, I didn't know what the heck to do against Melodic, so I just Dragon Tailed it out. And when I did that, I end up getting Electivire in, which is bad for me. And I don't have anything which can like technically switch in. So just as usual, I end up getting rid of Mega Blastoise because I didn't feel like it would do much use. It would not do much against this team. So I bring in Victini, and this is where I kind of get annoyed, but it's not as bad yet. But I predict him to switch out, and really, I kind of screwed up regardless, but I predicted him to switch out of Electivire into Melodic. But then I found out like a moment later that Zygarde would have been his best switch-in. But guess what? I predict the Melodic. He stays in. And he goes for the Earthquake, and it almost takes me out, which bothers me. So I was like, okay, I gotta just get out. I gotta get Victini out of there, and I bring in Aromatisse because Aromatisse could really take the Earthquake well. Unfortunately, I didn't have leftovers, so he goes for the Wild Charge, and I just went for a Moonblast. It takes me down a good amount of health, and then I just Moonblast, and I don't think this crit mattered. It might have mattered, but it just took out Electivire. Now, he brings in this thing. He brings in Chatot, and I'm going to be honest with you, Chatot is so... It's very, very annoying. Like, if you've watched the other battles, you knew that this Chatot just causes trouble whenever it comes in. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to deal with any of these shenanigans. I'm just going to get rid of Aromatisse right here. He goes for Chatter. I end up going down. And what I thought of doing was, I want to bring in Aurorus. And right here, this is where I really screwed up. And this hurts my team because this was a misplay which really mattered. And what happened was, I was thinking, oh, he'll predict me to like Hyper Voice and he'll go into Melodic. Guess what? He goes into his Mega Absol and I go for Stealth Rock, and I was not happy about that. Alright, so where was I at? Last time, the Stealth Rocks ended up being bounced, and he went for a superpower, knocks me down the Sash, and what I decided to go here was for a Hyper Voice, and it ended up going down, which I am very happy about. And then he brings in the Melodic. I decide I'm just going to get rid of the Aurorus, and from here, I then go into Zapdos, and then the Stealth Rocks end up hurting me. But what I did right here was this. I decided that I am going to make a prediction. And I'm going to predict Zygarde and go right for the Hidden Power Ice. And I get it correct. And it goes down. But wait, he said there was Yachi Berry on it, but apparently it didn't, which is odd. Wouldn't have outsped anyway. Alright, so then he brings in the Chatot back in. I just go for a Volt Switch. And what I decided to do was I decided to sack off my Victini with rocks. And that way, what I can do is I bring in Bisharp. And I go right for the Sucker Punch. And then I KO. Which is great. Now, he brings in the Melodic. I decide I'm just going to go for the Sword Dance, even though he has Scald. He goes for the Scald. It doesn't burn me. And what I do right here is I go for a knockoff. And later on, I calced it. And he survived with 3 hit points. I got a low roll, and it lived with 74%. I was not happy with that, because if he didn't do that, I could have... What I could have done was, if this would have went down, then he would have brought in Talonflame, and he probably would have locked himself into, he would have either locked himself into Brave Bird, or he would have locked himself into Flare Blast. This would have been a tough thing. It would have been tough predicting which move he would have went for, but this low roll definitely mattered, because it weakened my chances of winning. So, because of that, he's able to get another Scald off. I don't get burned, thank goodness. But what happens is I just go for the Iron Head for some odd reason. I don't know why. But then he brings in this bird, and he goes for the Brave Bird. And then I didn't notice this, but I thought positive I was going to win. But guess what? Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rocks were able to take out the Zapdos, and he gets static, but doesn't matter. But now I was not happy about this battle, because what happened was I was feeling confident I was gonna win, but then, because of the simple fact that I decided to go for Stealth Rocks, it literally just cost me the game. I can't believe I went for that. I really didn't expect him to predict that, but he really did, and yeah, it didn't work out for me. Didn't work out, and I'm not a fan of this battle. It's a bit depressing to me. And while Corman did deserve this win, not saying he doesn't deserve it, it's just I felt like I wouldn't say I didn't let my guard down. I made sure not to let my guard go down, but I felt like I didn't play great. I felt like I didn't do a great job this battle, and this is like not my proud battle right here, even though it was close. But all because of that Stealth Rock play, I lost, and that low roll. It's just, I was not a fan of that. And also, I just want to, if any of you were having a problem with my attitude during this battle, then I am sorry to anyone in the UPA who is watching this, but I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again. You get the idea. But GG to Corman, and he deserved the win, but yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, I would like it if you were to leave a like, comment, subscribe. That is, if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.